Today I'm going to tell you the story of a young gentleman I've been working with who's a new entrepreneur and a cryptocurrency investor, and he has lost almost $1 million in the last year. I'm going to tell you how it happened, and it's going to be a perfect example to explain exactly why the high taxes that you're paying are a lot worse than you think. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. Here at Nomad Capitalist, my team of over 30 people, our network of global experts, and yours truly help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where they're treated best, from lower taxes to dual citizenship to opportunities in emerging countries. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. And this is the story of a gentleman who had a job, who was investing his savings from that job, his salary, into cryptocurrency, and was very bullish on cryptocurrency and planned on keeping his job until the pandemic hit, and he found himself locked down, working from home, not a lot of things to go outside and do, and he decided to start a side business, a side hustle. Well, this side hustle started almost a year ago at this point, took off pretty quickly, and in the last 10 months or so, he's made about $800,000. In just the last month alone, he's made over $250,000. So he grew this side hustle very quickly, very successful young entrepreneur. Here's what he found. He found, after this amazing year, he's riding high, he feels great, he found the same thing that I found when I first built a business and that first big tax bill came due. In his particular case, a little under $375,000. Almost half of his money. Lived in a high-tax country, that's how much money the government wants to take. And as you know, I happen to think those numbers will go even higher. So he owes $375,000 in tax. And, you know, that sounds pretty bad on the surface. Guy starts a business, he's creating value for the economy, he's been starting to hire people, and he has this big burden around, where how is he going to grow the business as quickly with $375,000 in tax? And on the side, all right, he's running a consulting business, so he doesn't need to put the whole $375 back. So he would have put a good chunk of that into his investment plan, which is into cryptocurrency. Now, remember back at the peak of the pandemic, I remember it was like early April, and I was talking to some folks who were in crypto, and I was trying to explain to them why crypto being at pretty low numbers was going to be good for them, but I knew it was kind of hard for some people to understand. You had Bitcoin get down to, $5,000, and I think in his first month after doing this, when the tax bill started to rack up, I think I found it's about $6,700 a Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin is about 5 times that. And so all the money that he has had to pay in tax or had to set aside for tax was money that was not able to be reinvested into Bitcoin, into cryptocurrency. I see this all the time. People who run businesses or who make investments, that if they had lower taxes to pay, they would reinvest in those things that create value. I've had numerous e-commerce entrepreneurs who say, I would buy more stock, I'd create more products, and they realize they're at a disadvantage when they're paying 40% tax and a guy who moved his company to Malta is paying 5% tax. The guy in Malta has a lot more money to put back into, as Kevin O'Leary would say, pouring boiling oil over their heads and competing with them and beating them at their game. And so in the investment space, for this guy and for many others in crypto, if you look at that money, if he would have dollar cost averaged that money in, I went and I did some rough numbers, and I figured out that money in tax, if you just kind of took it out as the money was made, a little bit at first, and then in the last month, a lot of money, it's going to pay over $100,000 in tax just the last month, you could have put that in crypto as it went up and made about $784,000 based on the rough patterns that he told me he was investing at. And so $375 is bad enough, but dollar cost average just in a little less than a year, $784,000. This shows the opportunity cost of tax. And again, it could be cryptocurrency, going up 400% in the course of a number of months, and you missed out on that because you were too busy paying tax. By the way, for a government that in the last 10 months, have they been keeping you safe? Have they been giving you consular services if you're overseas? What have they been doing for you in many places? I'm reading so many articles about how healthcare is in shambles in some of these places. What have you been paying for? You're paying 45%, and you're on your own? But he could have put that money into crypto. Other people could have put their money back into, as I said, new products, into marketing. I've talked to so many guys who they run Facebook ads, or they run Google ads, or they're doing some kind of PR, or they're having people write blog posts for organic traffic, or whatever their business does. And they're saying, yeah, when I run a Facebook ad and I spend $1, I'm getting a big return, what's called return on ad spend. Every dollar turns into $3. And so if I'm paying $375,000 in tax, that's over $1 million that I'm not going to make. And then that $1 million is $3 million I'm not going to make. And that $3 million is $9 million I'm going to make. Now, I'm a pragmatic entrepreneur. The 3-to-1 ratio, especially on something like a Facebook ad, probably is not going to go on forever. So we're not going to go on infinitely. But imagine, over the course of just a couple years, your opportunity cost on sitting around in a country that I think we've shown doesn't really care that much about you, is not really going to be there for you when you need it. The opportunity cost on sticking around for just a couple of years could be millions of dollars. And if you're in your 20s, like this gentleman that I'm helping out, imagine what those couple $1 million saved by the time you turn 30, or for someone else could turn 40. Imagine what you could do by retirement by just investing that, whether in crypto or something more conservative. And so opportunity cost is a big thing. There is a cost, of course, to going offshore. But when you look at taxes as not only what am I paying, but what could that money be if I had access to it, I think you'd realize that the cost, both emotionally of adjusting to living somewhere else, and the actual financial cost of setting up your offshore company, moving your banking overseas, moving yourself, getting a second residence permit, maybe a second passport. Those things all have costs, but compared to the opportunity cost, it pales in the bucket. When we work with people here at Nomad Capitalist, our goal is, can we get someone an incredible ROI? And I'll talk to people sometimes and I'll say, here's our projection. Based on your numbers, based on your growth pattern, we think we'll save you, $4 million in the next 5 years, and here's what it's going to cost, right? You chose the deluxe package, you want to live in a nice place, you want the robust corporate structure, maybe it costs you 70 grand. 70 grand compared to 800 grand a year is still a pretty good deal. 4 million over 5 years, but imagine that $4 million pumped back into your business or financial plan for investments. We're talking a lot of money. And so that's something to think about the next time you pay your tax bill, whether it's a tax estimate, quarterly estimate, whether it's your annual tax bill, whatever it may be. Think of, what could I turn this money into? By the way, for some people, it could just be lifestyle. It could be, I want a nicer house. I can't afford to buy the house I want. I'm working my butt off, and I can't afford to have the beautiful house I want because I'm giving half my money to the government. I could move overseas, lower cost of living, buy a bigger house, live the lifestyle I want. Sometimes that's what people want to do, is just build their real estate portfolio, build their trifecta around the world. But for many people, when you're just starting out, as is this gentleman, the opportunity cost is super high. That's how I encourage you to look at this. You have to look at, how much money am I going to lose staying in my country? How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.